Welcome to the Mind Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast. I'm Evan.
And I'm Ja.
And it's our basketball podcast where we recap, break down, and analyze players and teams from the previous games from the previous day. How are you Thursday afternoon, Ja?
I'm goody.
That's great to hear. I'm doing good as well. I hope everyone having a good day. I hope everyone will have a good day. A lot of interesting basketball from around the association from last night's set of games. So we're just going to jump right into it. First, starting off with the last game of the doubleheader from ESPN, which was the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. This was very competitive. This was a nice little good game between two playoff teams, possible championship teams, possible. I say that, with emphasis on possible.
One is slightly though.
Well, one is my dark horse, and the other one, a lot of people see them as championship contenders.
Yeah.
Every season, meaning the Bucks. But as I said, look at them right behind me. As I said, yeah, this was a really good game, really entertaining to watch, high scoring. The Suns, everybody really mainly had it going, not just one man. Devin Booker always has it going. Seems like from every game. The Bucks. Giannis was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Was unstoppable. I mean, every time he got into the paint, it was like an and one. They could not stop him whatsoever. And kudos to them not just having him, set of the same play of isolation at the top of the key. It was spread around. It was post ups. It was pick and rolls. It was cutting to the basket. I love to see that type of play designs, not just the same thing where they can box in one and trap him all the time. Because by the time they try to tap him, you saw it was too late.
Yeah.
He was already in the spot. Once he gets into the spot, it's a dunk or a layup.
Exactly, yeah.
Or a foul.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that all being said, it came down to the wire. It looked like the Suns in the fourth quarter was going to, pick up the good, competitive, close, clean win, until they the Bucks tightened up defensively and Middleton and Giannis had that connection going and they tied the game.
Yeah.
And Devin Booker got the ball, did a little jab step, caught Middleton. Middleton had to foul him. Booker made 1 of 2. It came down to the Bucks, 3 seconds left with, in my opinion, a terrible play design. Giannis starting at half court, getting the ball, going to the mid-range line, one dribble pull-up, and it just ended up missing. Giannis did finish with 47, but all that means nothing because the win goes to the Suns.
Well, we always talk about it, right? Like, a 40-plus can never win you a ball game in today's NBA.
It seems like that rarely. I don't understand.
Well, yeah, it was a good competitive from the start. First quarter, it was highly competitive by both teams. Then the second quarter, the Bucks caught fire, and then went on a big run. And then the third quarter hit, the Suns caught fire, went on a big run. And then the third quarter, it was just back to how it was the first quarter. And just like what you said, Devin Booker, the Suns got on a roll, hit 3 straight threes to start off the fourth quarter. And it was from there, but then just like what you said, Milwaukee man down defensively, and then they went on a quick 8-0 run in the last minute of the game. Devin Booker, quick jab step, 1 of 2, and then the Bucks had an opportunity, in which you were right. You told me this. Why give it to Giannis at half court when he's a player who's good at attacking and knowing that teams are going to try to limit him defensively, trying to stop him from getting to the paint? Why would you make him start from half court instead of making him start from the free throw line? It makes no sense. If they wanted that better, then as a result, I felt like they could have better opportunity. And I felt like if they want to have better opportunity, I'm not saying they want one or not. That would have been 50-50 still. But it would have been better than just having him stay at the half court because teams know how to work around that defensively.
Mm-hmm. And that they ended up double teaming him.
Yep, exactly. So that was a good that was a good strategy by the Suns picking that up quickly, and just a bad strategy by the Bucks because that kind of been way better than how it was. Let's acknowledge DeAndre Ayton really quickly. Had a good first half, but got caught up in foul trouble, in which I felt like if he didn't get caught up in foul trouble, he would have had a better second half. But hey, all said it is, he had a big impact on the game. Devin Booker at least scored. We don't got to talk about it. And the leadership of Chris Paul showed up in this game, especially down the stretch.
And he was big time in that third quarter and heading into the fourth quarter. I mean, they really didn't have an answer for Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of pick and rolls or a lot of screens in which there was always a mismatch.
Yeah.
And man, Brook Lopez ain't guard Chris Paul. Chris Paul was shaking Middleton. So Brook Lopez, it was terrible. It was terrible.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, going back to that last play, as you mentioned, I mean, Giannis, that's not his game. That's not his game. I mean, I've seen him make jump shots. Obviously, we've all seen him make jump shots. He could make that shot, but would you rather have him take a jump shot or a layup in the paint?
Yeah.
You got to get him in that position. Have him start in the low post. Have him start in the mid-range line. If you're going to have him, at least have him start at the top of the three and then cut in.
Exactly.
Do a hard drive. And at half court, he got the ball in like damn near at half court. Had to dribble to get into that spot. Like that's already a tough position.
Yeah, and it's 3 seconds left on the clock too.
Yeah, in that case, I'd rather have Middleton take the shot.
Yeah.
If you gotta do that, Middleton's a shot creator. He can create space. He can make his own shot. He's a better shooter than Giannis. He can make that. If that was Middleton taking that shot, I have more confidence in him making it.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that. That was bad play design. That was a really bad play design. I felt with a better play, they could have got the win.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's just a bad mistake on the really bad mistake on the Bucks because that kind of been if they did it better from free throw line in, that kind of been a better opportunity for them to win the game. And don't get me wrong, you can still see how even though despite that, again, the Suns defense respected the fact that Giannis could possibly hit that shot still from the mid range that they clamped up on him right there.
Yeah. But nonetheless, the Suns did get the win despite Giannis's 47. And by the way, love to see Giannis making his free throws.
Yeah.
Because those missing free throws was really aggravating me. But he made a lot of his free throws. I think he shot like 21 free throws in the game. I mean, like 17 of them.
Yeah.
Check. Yes, he did make 17 of them. So that's great to see.
Yeah, he had a good free throw game.
Yeah, because if they're gonna keep fouling you and you're strong, you're bigger than everybody, you gotta hit your free throws.
Exactly.
But yeah, nonetheless, good win by the Suns team against a good Bucks team. Just proving themselves more that they are a playoff contender.
Yeah.
All right. Going to the first game of the doubleheader, which was, of course, the battle between two players that will be edged and linked together for all eternity. That is Trae Young and Luka Doncic. Trae Young of the Hawks and Luka of the Mavs. This was also a really good game. Felt like it took a turn though in that second second quarter, and then midway and the start of the third quarter, in which the Hawks took a lead, very comfortable lead, it looked like. But then the Mavericks by Jalen Brunson and Tim Hardaway. What is that?
No, I ain't saying anything. Go on.
Yeah, led by Jalen Brunson and Tim Hardaway, got them back into the game, and then Luka checked back in, and then he got into his room as well. They hit a lot of threes in that fourth quarter, but the Hawks stayed in it.
Yeah, they did.
Led by Trae Young. The stars were out. Trae Young and Luka showing off their skills, making plays not just by scoring, but by passing the ball as well. Yeah. And it came down to the wire. The Hawks was down by 1, and it looked like they wanted John Collins on a lob to the basket, but they didn't do the lob. Trae Young wanted a foul call from the screen. He didn't get it. Ended up giving the ball to Gallinari, who had a decent look.
Yeah, he had a good shot.
He had a decent shot, but he ended up missing. And the Mavericks ended up winning this close, nail-biting game.
Yeah. Yeah, just like what you said. I want to specifically pinpoint to that second half because I felt like, you know how you always say the tale of two halves. This was like, the tale of the third and the fourth quarter. Basically, the Hawks had, just like what you said, from the end of the second all the way throughout the third, the Hawks had a big lead in which it was just mostly the Trae Young, John Collins show, along including Kevin Herter, in which, like, they just had big time shots, like, big time plays on the inside and everything, and they was able to operate. And as a result, the Hawks were able to maintain a big lead by that. Give credit to John Collins, who had a monster game. I believe he had like 25 or 27.
John
And like,
Collins?
yes, John
No, I think
Collins,
he had 30.
30. Sorry. That he had 30. He had a
Yeah, he
double.
had 33.
Yeah. He had 33 in the double, and also they just had it going in the third quarter, and then when it hit the fourth quarter, and just like what you said, Tim Hardaway Jr. was looking like Tim Hardaway Sr. for a good minute right there. Him and Jalen Brunson were just going off. They ignited this run for the Mavericks to get on.
Not quite. Not quite. Junior's a better shooter.
Yeah, he is. He is a better shooter, but still, he went. Hey, he was scoring that will. He was scoring that will like his pops.
Mm-hmm. It said Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson, they were both like, they ignited this whole run for the Mavericks team. And then as a result, their star, Luka, came right back in, contributed so well. And then they were able to just get into this role. And as a result, you saw with that last play. And just like Rich said, I thought Trae Young got fouled when that screen got hit. But when they took a close look at it, he didn't. He tried to argue about it, but it was just like, hey, you can't really argue that. Like, you kind of look like a little kid doing that. And also they try to catch John Collins on the lob.
Like they should have thrown it.
Should have thrown it. Yes, you're right. But also I feel like sometimes those could be risky because, like, somebody could just come out of nowhere. You feel like you got an easy opportunity to get the lob at the rim, and then somebody just come out of nowhere and just like, intercept it. But that was the better chance out of all the other plays, whether that was him getting lobbed, that was a better chance than Trae Young getting the ball or Gallinari having that shot. Because that the Mavs defense was trying to not get Trae Young the ball. That was their main point when that play happened. Because they rather have somebody else beat them rather than Trae Young beat them.
Oh yeah, exactly. I would do the same exact thing. I mean, unless it's a wide open layup, I don't care who's taking it. Yeah. I don't want the ball in Trae Young's hands. Anybody else can take it besides him.
Exactly.
So yeah. Exactly. Nonetheless, a good win by this Mavericks team, who I believe won 3 straight at home and are edging closer and closer in the win column in that Western Conference, that crazy Western Conference. But all right. There's a few other games that happened from last night, so I'll toss it over to you. Anything that
Oh man, you missed it. The man right behind you. Oh, Levine.
Oh.
It's fine.
So yeah, there was 2 other games I was talking that happened from last night. You want to talk about any?
Well, just look at the man right behind you, Mr. Zach Levine. Okay, the Bulls took on the Pelicans, and let's just say, like, let's just say that Mr. Levine had it going the whole night, 46 on the night, 10 plus threes. And the Bulls, and it wasn't even just Levine, though. Even though he had 46, it was
Kobe White.
Kobe White had 8 threes in the game. And this Bulls team just had it going from the beginning. They went on a big run, and don't get me wrong, there was one specific point where in the second quarter where the Pelicans took back the lead, but then from there on that point, from third quarter, from the rest of the second half, the Bulls just had it going, especially from the three. They set a franchise record of 3-point field goals made in the game with 23. So that 25. Was 25. 25 through
a franchise record, by the way.
Yes, franchise record, 25 3-point field goals made in the game, and they just had it going, and they just never looked back from this point. So just a good win by the Bulls.
A great win by the Bulls, who I believe are the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference, only a few games back.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. That's good to hear. They play no defense, but they got Zach Levine, and they have a lot of good shooters on their team. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any other games?
Yes, the Clippers versus Timberwolves game, and let's just say that KAT is back. Carl Anthony Towns is back in business. Had a really good game. Was just doing it on mainly, of course, mainly the offensive end and in the defensive end. His impact for this team is greatly. He is their star player, and you can obviously see it right out the gate. But let's just say this: the Timberwolves had a big lead because of his return
In
and
that
because
first quarter,
that first quarter and for parts of that second quarter, the Timberwolves had a big lead. But the Clippers, being the Clippers, despite even not having no Paul George, they're still one of the best teams in the league, and they had a big third quarter in which they were able to have a comeback. They took the lead, and the fourth quarter was just all them, especially by Lou Williams. Lou Williams, he came up big for them in that fourth quarter, from whether it was going left and scoring or just facilitating the ball. And he had it going, and Kawhi had a 30 piece, well, had a 30 plus piece game, and he just had it going too. And this whole Clippers team was just able to just man up defensively, and as a result, pick their spots correctly and have good shots.
Yeah. Glad to see that Cat is back. Glad to see that not only is back, but he was balling.
Yeah.
18 and 10, and he played 30 minutes, so not really a minute restriction. So because he's been through a lot over the past year, so I'm glad that he's back and he's playing well. It's always good to see from him. You can see the spark that he had on the Timberwolves,
Yeah.
especially in that first half. But of course, in the end, they just playing a better team, like I usually say sometimes, and that just happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, a good effort by the Timberwolves, but a even better win and effort by the Clippers.
Yeah.
All right. Game now I want to talk about was the rematch from the game a few nights ago, the overtime game, which was between the Thunder and the Lakers. Once again, AD was out, but for the Thunder, SGA was out. And so this is a little interesting. The Thunder got out to an early lead and a big lead. We're up by 18, and they were up by 10 at half. And then the Lakers, that third quarter was really big for them, really, really big for them. Led by LeBron. I mean, who else would lead that team? Led by LeBron, of course, the other pieces that stepped up, Kuzma, Schroeder, and they was able to get back into the game because of that.
Yeah.
And then heading into the fourth quarter, it was back and forth. And the Thunder, with a huge and one by Dort, took the lead and were up by 3 with about 24 seconds left.
Yeah.
And then LeBron, which we've seen him do many times in his career, it's a clutch 3 to tie the game. The Thunder ended up missing their game winner. Dort ended up missing the game winning 3 so that means for the third consecutive game for the Lakers, another overtime. And in that overtime, wow, another back and forth in that overtime.
Yeah.
A little more defense as well, and great. Well, actually, not a little more defense, but a lot of great defense by the Lakers towards that end,
Yeah.
in which also by Dort, because if you see, the Lakers were up by 1.
Yeah.
And they had the ball. They had a chance to ice the game or further the lead to where the Thunder needed 3. And Dort had great defense on LeBron. And pull up the footage. You could just see how he was moving, see how he was clamping. Not really. Yeah, he was clamping him up, trying to blur his vision so he can't make a good pass, trying to poke the ball away so he has to move the ball around so he can't just keep it in one spot. He ended up taking a tough jump shot. He missed that. Thunder had the ball. Where I think where they messed up is they got the rebound. Did nobody call timeout? So they couldn't advance the ball. I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe they thought they could rush and get a good shot, but no. The players didn't know. Looked like they didn't know what to do. They have no shot maker on that team for them to make the clutch shots because SGA's out.
Yeah.
So I feel like once you get the rebound, you need to call timeout instead of play.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They try to push. Then it's like, oh, okay, so they're out of sorts right now. They don't know what to do. Let me call timeout. Timeout was called, but they can't advance the ball now.
Yeah.
So now you got an inbounds from past half court. Tough inbounder against a great team, great defensive team at that in the Lakers. Trying to inbound the ball, try to get it to I think it was Horford or Beersley, I believe.
I
And
don't remember, to be honest.
LeBron poked it away.
Yeah.
Ended up saving the ball. The Thunder got it, but by that time
It
it
was
was
already
like
yeah.
like 2 seconds left. It was a rush shot from past half court, which I don't think it would have counted if it went in. And as a result, the Lakers end up winning for the third consecutive game in the third consecutive overtime.
And this is just the championship pedigree. This team has had, like, don't get me wrong, the Lakers have had their ups and downs a little bit this season, despite being mostly on the good side of everything. But
Still 20-6.
they're still 20-6. That's what I'm saying. Even though they're on the good side, they have had moments within games that you have seen which they've been up and down, or like, where they look like they was about to ruin their chances of winning games, but yet the championship pedigree always came through for them. And you saw that one, especially defensively, because that's their main mantra, their main pedigree defensively.
Yep. So good effort by the Thunder, but a great win by the Lakers.
Yeah.
All right. Now is prediction time for tonight's set of games. Only a few, but it should be interesting. So let's get into it. First, starting off with the first game of the doubleheader on TNT, which is the Miami Heat up against the Houston Rockets. So you got?
I got Miami.
Got Miami. I got Miami as well. Houston be dealing with injuries a lot.
Yeah.
I believe. Because if Oladipo's there, John Wall's not there. John Wall's there, Oladipo's not there. So yeah. And of course, Christian Wood is still out.
Yeah.
Next, the Raptors and the Celtics.
Celtics.
Go with the upside. I got the Raptors. Pacers or the Pistons?
Pacers.
Pacers as well. The Magic or the Warriors?
Warriors.
Warriors. And lastly, the second game of the doubleheader is the Philadelphia 76ers going to Portland to travel the Trailblazers. What you got?
I think Portland's still dealing with injuries a little bit, so I'm going to go with the Sixers.
And I got the Blazers.
Blazers?
The Blazers. They are still dealing with injuries, but they can't guard. Six can't guard Dame, so. Yeah, I feel like the Sixers still need a little bit more work on the defensive side.
Yeah. They do. They do.
And the Blazers have that offense packed, so
yeah,
I feel like they could steal this win. All right. Now I think it's time to wrap things up. Any final thoughts?
Really quickly, I just want to say I'm happy to see Cat back on the court. Like, he, like, if you heard about all the things and stuff, all the personal things and everything, he just hasn't been able to catch a break. And like, it's been really tough. And this is a dude who people have who on the court, people have disrespected and called him a soft person. And it's just like, you can't really talk bad about certain people because you just don't know what they could be going through. And he's a prime example of it. He's been through it up and down this whole season since the beginning, since the bubble, I believe.
So, well, those people were saying that before all of this happened.
Yeah.
Before this season.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure some people were saying that this season, but most of them were saying that before all this happened, and they was talking more about his on-court game.
Yeah, that is true. But that's the reason I'm saying it's probably his on-court game is probably something that he's going off the court that could probably be attributing to why things are happening on the court at times. You don't know.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm saying. But like, I'm happy to see him back on the court. He's a talented, transcendent player, really good, and he's just happy to see him back there balling.
Same as well. Hopefully he's able to use this time being on the court and hooping as a way to distract himself from everything that's happened.
Yeah.
But all right. That being said, thank you guys for watching today's pod. Make sure to tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Also follow IG down in the description below.
And once again, I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this was Mind and Basketball Podcast.